Chrissy Carey, welcome to Nature of Reality Radio. My
Hi.
God, we had a lot of Mercury retrograde glitches happening in the last few minutes that made us go run around, but now we have the show, and that's what's important. So it was a pleasure and a blessing for you to give me that free consultation. I loved that you gave me that, and we met at Karma Fest in Delaware, apparently. I
Yes, we did.
Yeah, I would love to go to the other Karma Fest that's going to be happening, but apparently I'm not going to be able to because my boss wants me to work on Labor Day weekend. So,
Bummer.
yeah, it's a bummer, but I can still use the ticket to pay for a future Karma Fest. So, anyway, you, I might as well ask you to give your life story from a primary source perspective. Um, Explain who you are, what you experienced that caused you to do the stuff that you do,
Sure.
and to the best of your ability.
Sure. So my name is Chrissy Carey. I'm a life purpose life coach, and I have numerous life coaching certifications, but my background is in marketing. I have a marketing degree, and so I have over 20 years of marketing experience. And so, what am I doing life coaching? I actually spent years pursuing my own life's purpose, and I did so because I had what I like to call a series of unfortunate events. So, kind of like Lemony Snicket, I just had a bunch of really bad things happen. Um, but everything happens for a reason, and I do believe that. And it was late in life that I met my someone who I really loved, who I thought I would spend the rest of my life with. And I was 40 years old, and he died on my 42nd birthday. So when I met him, I was 40. He died on my 42nd birthday, and I started wondering what what more can I do with my life? There's got to be something else. It just seemed that there has to be something that I could do that has more meaning, and I had to have been put on this earth for something more. And so um, I kind of went on doing the same old routine. Eventually, I found comfort in an old friend that went through something very similar that I went through. He lost his wife a few weeks before I lost my boyfriend, and we went through the grieving process together. And I ended up marrying that man, and we fell in love. We got married, but life just had a different idea of what we needed to be doing. And so we divorced not long after. And at that same time, I lost my job, and then my dog died. So it was like just a tornado of terrible things going on. And my anxiety took over. And I was at that point where I don't have a job. All these bad things are happening. I just don't know. I don't seem to fit in the world the way I used to, and I don't want to. I don't want to fit in the world the way I used to. I want to do something more. And so I again, and this is going on for years then, I was doing all these steps to try and find my life's purpose. And I did a lot of things. I read lots of books. I went to spiritual advisors. I did a vision board. I did, I talked to friends and family, asked them what they thought I was good at. What do you think I'm good at? What, Mom, what am I good at? Like, what can I do other than what I already do? Um, I prayed to God about it every night. I just did soul searching. I did personality assessments online. I did research. I did everything. And I finally came to this point where my life's purpose is to help other people find their life's purpose. So, but to not have to go through all of the stuff that I went through to find it. So to find it in an easier fashion. Unfortunately, most people come to the point where they're looking for their life's purpose after a life-changing event, and that part I can't take away from them. That's usually the point that they start looking for someone like me. But that's basically my background. That's how I got here. And so, yeah, for people that want to have more meaning in their life and just are looking to find what their higher purpose is and live in alignment with their higher purpose, or find and do something that they're more passionate about, even if it's someone that's retired, and kind of like, well, now what? What do I do with my life now? I quit work. Now I'm bored. What can I do to make myself feel fulfilled for the rest of my life? So that's the long and short of it, I guess.
Yes, and when it comes to coaching, when I see the word coach, I think of like sports coach. I was a sports coach for a little while. After a year after I graduated high school, I decided to volunteer. I didn't get paid for it, but I volunteered to help the track team. Um, Shot put, discus throw. I was pretty good at that when I was in high school, and I decided to make a coaching out of it. Thought it was gonna enhance my purpose in life. And well, the thing is, when it comes to coaching, you're not supposed to advise the person, which seems counterintuitive. The coach is supposed to like ask the questions, and then the
Right.
person is supposed to find the answers for themselves. Is that true?
Yes. So the program that I use, I use the stepping stones to purpose. So it's a series of exercises that actually you work through to uncover things about yourself. And it's really it's about self-awareness, things that you don't realize or haven't uncovered about yourself. um, Childhood influences. A lot of people don't realize how much they're shaped by their parents, and they don't want to think that they turned into them. But one of the exercises, you kind of talk about people that raised you and like things about them that are positive things that they've believed, and maybe some things that they believed that you found to be negative things. Like, I don't know, my mom was afraid of water. She didn't like to go swimming, but my dad always said to challenge yourself. I don't know, things like this. And then you kind of go back and circle the ones that you've adopted into your own life, and you cross off the things that you've not adopted. Sometimes you go the opposite side and you don't do it, but sometimes it becomes part of who you are, and you don't really realize it until you laid it all out there. So these different steps that you go through, it uncovers these things, and then eventually, as you start doing it, it starts pointing in the direction. And just like being a coach on a sports team, you're heading towards a goal, just like you would with a ball in soccer. You're heading towards the goal. It's the same concept. So you see everything pointing in that direction, and it's like that aha moment. Oh, yeah, that's what my whole life has been pointing for me to do. I don't know why I didn't really see that before. Sometimes it's not always that clear. This life purpose, life coaching thing, I mean, I don't know. I don't think that that's something I would have grown up thinking I wanted to do. I wouldn't have known it was a thing, really. Um, Except, when you're in college and you ask maybe for a guidance counselor or something for help to figure out what your major is going to be, which I actually did. And they were like, take this online assessment. And then I came up with these, which I've done again, once I was trying to find my life's purpose. But that doesn't, it gives you like a list of professions, but it's not really the thing that you want to do. And so that's all they did for me. It would be nice for someone to take it a step further and be a little bit more precise with it. So that's what I do. But I help you do it. I ask the questions. I help you uncover it for yourself. And I kind of keep you on track, just like a coach would, and make sure you remember what your goal was, so you're not drifting off and forgetting. And some people just have a hard time staying focused, or they get overwhelmed because it seems so far away from what they can actually do. You have to break it down into smaller steps. So yeah, it's very much, there's definitely a parallel to coaching a team, just like you said.
Yes. And, well, is it right to say that after the course of X amount of days, weeks, months of coaching, a person should be able to go on their own, not have a coach anymore?
Oh yeah, this program is 8 weeks, and at the end of the 8 weeks, you'll have an idea of what you are meant to do, and then you'll also have some goals in place, a timeline in place, and you'll be able to take it from there. If you, at that point, need extra help, you can, and get extra help to get to that goal. It really depends on how quickly you want to do it or what it entails. Is it going to take more education? Do you have to learn the skill? Is it something that, you need a lot of help staying on track? Or are you the kind of person that now that you can roll with it and you're good to go? It really depends on the person and I guess the purpose that you decided on. So, but no, it's not something that you have to keep doing. It's meant to, you have a goal and you'll reach that in a certain amount of time.
Yes. And the soul's purpose, what is the soul? It's many people have different opinions on this. Some say soul and spirit are two different terms for the same thing. This subject's never going to get old. Others say that there's a difference between soul and spirit. Um, One of the best ways that I think for soul and spirit to be thought of is consciousness comes from soul, spirit comes from soul, and you think of spears, like spear, throw a spear at it, in the acknowledged illusion of space and time. That's, I think, George Cavassalis' analogy of what soul and spirit is. Do you have anything to say about the difference between soul and spirit and how one's soul and spirit is given it out in time
I
and
don't know.
space?
I don't know if I know the difference between soul and spirit, but
Nobody
I
does,
do,
apparently.
but I do have an opinion on, in a way, um, that you can shape your own being. This book that I was reading, um, and this isn't going to directly answer your question, so I apologize for that, but I don't know that I have that specific answer. Um, but this book, and I'm not trying to push religion on anyone. I'm an Irish Roman Catholic. I mean, we couldn't be any more hypocritical. I'm not trying to push any kind of religion on anyone. Um, this is Conversations with God. That's what it's called. When my dad passed away, my mother and I, my mom's 100% Italian. My dad was 100% Irish. Their heritage. They weren't actually from Italy and Ireland. Anyway. So me, that mix, half and half, Irish and Italian. I'm a real mess, basically. Like it's quite a mix. I believe in God. I pray daily, but I also don't condemn other religions or beliefs. But I do undeniably think that there is a higher power at work in our lives. And I think that we are given the ability to be anything we want to be. But I think that throughout the things that everybody experiences, just being a human being, we limit ourselves. It's just part of what human beings are. And I know you really explore spirituality and try to like break out of that mold that we as human beings just we put ourselves in. It's just part of it. When somebody dies or some kind of life-changing event happens, you can't help but think outside of that a little bit. You start to think outside of that. And that's why at that point, you start wondering if you have if you're meant for some other higher purpose. And then sometimes if you don't pursue it, it'll leave you and you'll go back to your everyday. I don't know. Have you found that?
Yes, I have found that, and I believe that there is guiding um, forces that lead me in the right direction. And I have actually had instances where I've had a reading, and the people doing the reading say, Andrew, just keep doing what you're doing. Your spirit guides and guardian angels are supporting you in the best of their ability. So you have got to keep doing what you're doing, and you can't go wrong. Well, that seems to be uh, a problem because I recently had this issue at Whole Foods where I work, where I was able to finish all my dishes. I'm the dishwasher at Whole Foods in Jenkintown. It's a dream come true job as far as I'm concerned because it's very spiritually enlightening to wash dishes. Job nobody wants, but everybody should want to have because it's good for you to wash dishes. And I was able to clean up everything before 10:30 p.m. when I was supposed to get out. But there are some nights where I was not able to clean up everything because I got bombarded with so many other dishes. And that led me to realize, okay, I have no control over whether or not any given night is going to cause me to get bombarded with a lot of dishes. So they need to understand if they want me out at 10:30, I tell them I'm willing to stick around late to clean all the dishes, but if you want me to leave at 10:30, if I'm bombarded, I can't finish everything. They
Right.
basically tried to silence me at that point and told me it's all in my head that I can't do everything. Can you believe that? Well, I mean, how does one make sense of these kinds of things when you're doing the best you can, and then to
But that's,
fire me for giving the best effort would be a travesty, simply
but
put.
you know what?
Yeah.
You keep doing what you're doing the best that you can. How could, and if somebody fires you for that,
It would,
yeah, it's a grievance for you,
huh,
but
biggest
that's not on you. The same thing happened to me. I got let go for something. It wasn't anything that I could have prevented. I was overwhelmed. I had so many things. It was something somebody else did. Actually, nobody told me why. Like, they said I was laid off. They didn't even tell me I was fired. And they didn't tell me why. Nobody knew why. And it's, it was, I was working nights, weekends, holidays, vacations. Like, I would be on vacation working. I put my work in. I wasn't getting paid anymore. I got paid a salary, not an hourly. So that was corporate America, though. That's how that works. Sometimes there's no, sometimes there's, you keep doing what you're doing. I think sometimes that's just how it is. But
yes.
that's on them, not on you.
Yeah. And what also is funny, there was little this girl named well, I'm not gonna give her name, but she when I started working, she was doing the dishes and she was pretty good at it, but it seemed like she was taking advantage of my competence. Every so often, she would keep disappearing and disappearing, going out of the dish room, and they eventually fired her because she was not working in the dish room. But ever since they fired that person, they have made no attempt to rehire someone to work as a dish room tag team. And then they think, okay, if I'm overwhelmed, then it's on me. Well, the highest up guy told me that he is very happy that I'm willing to stick around and wash dishes. So if he likes that, and if he can tell my team leader, you might as well let Andrew do the best he can to wash dishes. Let him work overtime. He's doing the best for the business. Then we got nothing to lose and everything to gain by doing that.
Right. And I mean, all you could do is, like you said, you're doing your best. I mean, that's what's, it's frustrating when you're doing your best. And I mean, I had a huge raise before all this happened to me. So it's like they said I was doing a great job, and then that happened, and it's like this doesn't equal that. But life's crazy like that, isn't it? You just don't. Sometimes things just aren't fair, and that's when I just like that's when I gave up on that. I was like, I don't fit into the world anymore. I can't do that anymore. I have to do my thing the way I want to do it. And let me tell you this too. I also feel that life was pushing me in that direction. It doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense the way it happened. It didn't make sense that I got a huge raise. I got a great review from the CEO, and then I was like laid off for no reason. Nobody knew why. And then it's like I was, and things just kept happening like that. Like I just kept getting pushed into this, like, I'd get interviews for marketing jobs and I'd get like through 3 rounds of interviews and then I wouldn't get it. It's like I got that ego boost. Yes, you are a good candidate for this job. You got through all these rounds, but then no, you're not meant to do that. You're not meant to do it. And I just kept getting pushed. And that's why I'm like, okay, I give up. I'm not doing marketing anymore. I'm meant to do something else. Like the universe is pushing me in this other direction. And I do think that happens sometimes. And synchronicities is another one of the stepping stones for your life's purpose. Sometimes synchronicities happen that kind of line up to kind of show you the path that you're supposed to go. In fact, I was writing, I'm going to do a lecture at this the upcoming Karma Fest, and I was writing what I was going to talk about. And when I was writing the information about synchronicities, I was listening to one of your other radio shows, and the gentleman started talking about synchronicities while I was writing about synchronicities. How about that? Like, what? That's crazy, right?
Well, there's no such thing as a coincidence. Everything happens for a reason.
It really does.
Yes. So I like to think everything will work out, even put the best effort, and there's really nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
But this raises the question, is it in our best interest to go the hard way, fight fire with fire, and do lawsuits? I mean, some say justice is something you got to always find. You got to saddle up your boys. You got to draw a hard line. That's a line I took from a radio show that someone did. But some other people say justice is glorified revenge. Forget about trying to seek justice. It's not worth it. Forget about it. Move on. So, how do you make sense? Well, it depends on the circumstance, of course. But how is it? What do you see how people think of finding justice regarding whether it's glorified revenge or something you need to always find to make your point?
Well, I was told once that I'm someone that always I always stand up when I see an injustice happen. Like I forget how they put it, but like I always speak up. I'm someone an advocate for justice. Like I say things like, if I see something happening, I have to make it, like I don't like when people are mistreated, I guess, or something's done that shouldn't have been. Somebody's treated a certain way that's not right. I have to say something about it. But I don't believe in suing or that kind of thing. But I did. My daughter had an assignment about this book, The 5 People You Meet in Heaven. Did you ever read that?
What's the book called?
The 5 People You Meet in Heaven.
I don't think I've read that.
There's a movie. Anyway, it talks about revenge is a curved blade. The gentleman who passes away, he meets someone in heaven, and she's talking about how he was upset. He was like he wanted revenge, or he was mad, and like hatred is like a curved blade. It really, you think that you're mad at, you think you're aiming it at somebody else, but it's never really, it's really coming back at yourself. So no matter what you're revenge you're trying to seek on somebody else, it's always going to come back at you. So no, I don't think. I believe that. I don't think that revenge would be worth it. Um, I think sometimes you want to be at peace with something, or you want to find that closure on something, you know, but you don't always get that, and sometimes you just have to get past it. It's hard.
Exactly. And okay, at this point, I'm gonna say that all listeners, please, for this interview, subscribe to Patreon to listen to the rest of this interview from this point onward. As well as other radio show guests, um, nothing wrong with asking to make a few bucks for our shows. If nothing wrong with making money. In this time, a great challenge. We need to find ways to do that, and I will make sure that this interview is given to you, and I will give it to you and upload it to YouTube and all. Um, but we will move on with the rest of the stuff that it will be available to Patreon subscribers. And well, there is